Hello, my fellow Teabags. Cineric77 coming back at you again today. I'm doing my very last CGC contest entry. This one's for my brother X4cto. Now, bro, said you wanted a ghost story. Well, I can give you a ghost story, but you know me, that's not going to just work. I've done a little prying, a little looking, and I have found out that in your neck of the woods is a very, very special place. Name of this place is called White Rock Lake. I'm sure you probably heard of it. You and the missus. Well, let you know that White Rock Lake came about during the early 1900s, late 1800s, and between 1890s and 1913. That's what I got it narrowed down to. So about a 23-year range there, where this lake was. The area was being populated. They took this valley, they saved up money, they flooded it, made a reservoir. Okay? So let's just talk about some of the events or phenomena that happened at White Rock Lake. Well, here we go. The ghost of a woman dressed in a white evening gown dripping with water has terrorized residents here for many years. During the 1920s, White Rock Lake was a popular recreation spot. A Dallas man, some say a bootlegger, and his lady had been enjoying an evening on his boat, and on this occasion, the party was formal, so they were both in evening dress. During that evening, they had a severe argument, and when the boat was docked, the lady ran from the deck, jumped into the man's car, and drove off. The roads around the lake were quite poor at that time, and the lady was probably intoxicated. As she approached an area where Lawther Drive now joins Garland Road, she lost control of the car and it plunged into the lake. The lady died in the accident. Her ghost is said to have two ways of manifesting itself. The most common is to appear as a hitchhiker along Garland Road, where it passes the lake. The spirit materializes as a pretty girl in an evening dress, drenched to the skin. She gives a certain address, quite fashionable in the 20s, and then disappears, leaving a wet seat. The lady has also been known to leave her wrap in the car, and this is said to bear a 1920 style Neiman Marcus label. The other manifestation is in the form of an emergency phone call, always delivered on the front porch of homes along Garland Road, facing the lake. In September 1962, Del Berry answered the doorbell twice to find no one there. On the third ring, he opened the door to see the screaming apparition, who disappeared, leaving behind only a puddle of water. The ghost also often appears to young couples parked in cars along deserted roads. A woman named Anne Clark wrote what may be the earliest published account of the legend, titled The Ghost of White Rock. Clark's brief story was included in the Texas Folklore Society's 1943 publication, Backwards to Border. It read, "One hot July night, a young city couple had been driven out and parked on the shores of White Rock Lake, switched on the headlights of the car, and saw a white figure approaching. As the figure came straight to the driver's window, they saw it was a young girl, dressed in a sheer white dress that was dripping wet. She spoke something in a somewhat flattering voice. "I'm sorry to intrude, and it would not under any other circumstances, but I must find a way home immediately. I was in a boat that overturned. The others are safe, but I must get home." She climbed into the rumble seat, saying that she did not wish to get the young lady wet, and gave them an address in Oak Cliffs, on the opposite side of Dallas. The young couple felt an uneasiness concerning the strange passenger. As they neared the destination, the girl, to avoid hunting the address, turned to the rumble seat to ask directions. The rumble seat was empty, but still wet. After a brief, futile search for the girl in white, the couple went to the address she had given and were met at the door by a man whose face showed lines of worry. When he had heard the couple's story, the man replied in a troubled voice, "This is a very strange thing. You are the third couple who has come to meet me with this story. 3 weeks ago, while sailing on White Rock Lake, my daughter was drowned." In 1953, a similar but much more detailed account was included in the Dallas author Frank X. Tolbert's book, Neiman Marcus, Texas, the story of the Proud Texas store. One night, about 10 years ago, a beautiful blonde girl ghost appeared on a road near Dallas White Rock Lake. Mr. and Mrs. Guy Malloy, directors for display at the world-famous specialty store Neiman Marcus, saw the girl, only they didn't recognize her right off for a ghost. She had walked up from the beach, and she stood there in the headlights of the slow-moving Malloy car. Mrs. Malloy said, "Stop, Guy, that girl seems in trouble. She must have fallen in the lake. Her dress is wet. Yet you can tell that it is a very fine dress. She certainly got it at the store." By the store, Mrs. Malloy meant the Neiman Marcus Company of Dallas. The girl spoke in a friendly, cultured contralto to the couple after the car had stopped. She said she'd like to be taken to an address on Gaston Avenue near the Lakeward section. It was an emergency, she said, and she didn't explain what happened to her, and the Malloys were too polite to ask. She had long hair which was beginning to dry in the night breeze, and Mrs. Malloy was now sure that the girl was wearing a Neiman Marcus dress. She was very gracious as she slipped by Mrs. Malloy and got in the back seat of the two-door sedan. When the car started, Mrs. Malloy turned to converse with the passenger in the Neiman Marcus gown. The girl had vanished. There was a damp spot on the back seat. The Malloys went to the address on Gaston Avenue. A middle-aged man answered the door. Yes, he had a daughter with long blonde hair who wore nothing but Neiman Marcus clothes. She had been drowned about 2 weeks before when she fell off a pier at White Rock Lake. Wow. Now, if y'all think this is BS, there's actually been, in 1935, Frank Doyle found the suicide note left by his sister, Louise Ford Davis, who resided at Merlos County Hotel. Police actually found her body in the lake. And also, November 24th, 1942, another distraught woman, 35-year-old Rose Stone of Mansfield, Texas, was also committed suicide by drowning herself in the lake. Her body, dressed in a sweater and a skirt, was discovered in 8 feet of water near the municipal boathouse. A note was pinned to her sweater asking that relatives in Fort Worth be notified of her death. Mrs. Stone's coat and hat were found on the shore. So, there you go. You got 2 separate ghost stories involving 2 separate suicides, all at the same lake, bruh. Don't know about y'all, but thinking about that, I got some goosebumps happening right now. Anyways, brother, thank you very much for your contribution to the CGC contest. I hope you and the missus rather enjoyed both of those true stories and true accounts. Thank you very much for watching, y'all. Keep your finger in the choil and have a nice day. Take care. Bye.